What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of my top 10 hidden features inside the 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll have it linked down in the description. Watch that first and then come back to this video. Again, quickly before we get started, if you already know these features, that's awesome. Please do not leave a nasty comment down below. I see all the comments. I know that people really like to brag about the fact that they know all these features, and I'm really happy for you. I give you a standing ovation, well, a sitting ovation in this case, but I'm proud of you. But there's some people out there, a lot of people actually, that don't know all these features and are still learning everything there is to know about their new vehicles. So please keep that in mind. And if I missed one that you guys think is an awesome hidden feature, leave it down in the comments because I'm always excited to learn new ones. But let's get started. Now, number 1 is actually a two-parter. You can actually slide these seats forward and backwards and recline them. So there's a bar up underneath with the kind of split here. It's really tough, but you gotta yank it forward, but you can slide them forward and backwards, which is nice in and of itself. But you also can grab this little loop right here and actually lean the seats forward and backwards if you need a little bit of extra, relaxation back here. But the Tiguan's back seats are 40-20-40 split. So you can actually hit this button here, drop just the center console seat here, and that gives you access to slide kind of longer objects through here if you need to carry like a ladder or, a rug or something like that that takes up a lot of, vertical space here. You can't fit it long ways across the back. You can drop just the center portion, so it's easier to carry that object while still having 2 people sit back here. But you can also bring it back up, get your normal kind of split by dropping, both halves of this and getting a 60-40 split seat. So lots of nice options there. And again, you can lean the seats back for a little extra comfort. Super cool. Number 2 is another one that has been around for a couple generations, ever since they introduced the digital display here. But that is the fact that you can actually take the navigation off of the 8-inch infotainment center and put it over here on the 10.25-inch digital cockpit. So what you're going to want to do is go into navigation and then go just to your main home screen. And they've changed it a little bit over the years, but this year there's a little bit of like a 3-line menu button. You guys have probably seen this on other apps before. Just want to push that, and then there's a button that says Display Map in Instrument Cluster. So we'll go ahead and check that. Inside this menu, you can also adjust kind of the day and night options of the map. So currently it's set on auto, so if you go under a tunnel or it gets dark enough, the display will automatically turn into dark mode, but you can disable that and leave it always in light mode, always in dark mode, or have it do auto like I said. But let's go back to the display map and instrument cluster, and you'll see that it pops up here on the digital cockpit. But currently we have our 2 little gauges in the way, so you can only see part of the navigation. But if you hit view once, twice, then it will go ahead and show the entire navigation system full screen right on your digital cockpit for the whole time that you're driving, which is awesome, especially if your model has built-in navigation. This is an SEL R line, so it's top of the line. It's going to have that built-in nav. If you don't have it, unfortunately, there's not a way to use like Apple CarPlay, Waze, Google Maps, anything like that on this system yet. But I think there's some good news on the horizon there. I can't confirm or deny anything because I don't know for sure. But Apple is in talks with manufacturers about extending CarPlay over to some of these other systems. So definitely be on the lookout. This could potentially have Waze, Apple Maps, Google Maps in the relatively near future, which is cool. But for now, just navigation built in, and you can do it full screen here on the Volkswagen Digital Cockpit. Now, number 3 is a cool one if you want to take your $40,000 Tiguan off-roading, which some people will. I don't know why you do that, but you could. If you go into the vehicle settings, there's a little button here that says off-road. If you hit that, it will give you access to all of these different kind of off-road functionalities like angle, altitude, your oil temperature, and you can swipe through these different ones to get access to more of them. Looks like there's only 3, so oil temp, there's a tire angle one, there's just a vehicle angle one, there's a oil life, oil temp, coolant temp, looks like. So not very many, but you do get access to a couple different ones, which is kind of cool. It's a nice little touch if you do, again, want to take this off-road and get a little bit more pertinent vehicle information for those scenarios. Now, I bet you didn't know about number 4. Volkswagen has kind of been known for having analog clocks on their vehicles. They've been doing this for so long. This like kind of premium-esque feature where they put like a physical analog clock in the vehicles never appealed to me because I can't really read them that quickly anyway. But they did remove them from a lot of models, the Tiguan being one of them. As you can see, this is the top of the line Tiguan. There's no analog clock in here, but they do give you access to a digital analog clock on the infotainment display here. So you may have known that if you hit the power button, it will take you back to this analog clock right here, gives you the date and the time right there. But you now have some different options that you can swipe through. So you have this very Volkswagen-esque looking one, but you can swipe and get a more simplified one that actually reacts to the 15 color interior ambient lighting we talked about in part 1. Which is cool, so you can be customized to whatever the other, accents of your vehicle look like at the time. And that is has kind of a really minimalist design where it kind of swoops around. It shows the time in a digital format. There's another one that is even more detailed and more kind of Volkswagen-esque with a little bit of extra information, more numbers, things like that. Still get the date at the bottom. And then there's one more that kind of has a little bit more of an aggressive look to it, more of a sporty look. It splits the clock into quarters there, gives you noon, 3, 6, and 9. So lots of nice customization options there. If you do like having that analog clock, don't need all the extra information, just want nice, simple look right there on your display, you do have some nice customization there with your analog clocks. And number 5 is a nice feature that applies to almost all Volkswagen models, and that is that you can drop all of the interior windows without the car even having to be on. This could really be helpful if you get stuck sitting in the car waiting for somebody or something like that, and you don't have the key fob with you and it's getting a little toasty or something like that, and you want to drop all those windows at the same time. Again, this is in a situation if the vehicle is completely turned off, so we'll turn off the accessories here, we'll get out, shut the door back, and now what you do is you just press and hold on the driver's side window button, and there you go. All 4 windows drop. Nice and easy. And then you can get some cool air. I don't need it today because it's freezing, but in a normal situation, it could be really handy. So for these bonus features, I want to talk about Park Pilot. Now, if you guys are seasoned Volkswagen veterans, then you know that Park Pilot has been around forever. I think I made a demo video on Park Pilot back in like 2015, maybe 2016, and it had been out, well before that. That was just the first time that I actually made a demo video on it. But it's kind of trickling out of the system as far as safety systems go on these newer Volkswagens. So there's not that many vehicles that actually have Park Pilot still, but the Tiguan here does have it. So you may have seen the button for it. It's this little P with the steering wheel on it right next to the shift knob here. And I'm going to demo it for you in this video so you can see exactly how it works. But also I wanted to show you that you can actually change the sounds that it makes when it beeps. So that's kind of the hidden part of this. So if you go into the vehicle settings again, and then we go to parking and maneuvering, you can actually see that you get the park distance control, and then you have all of your different alert sounds, and you can change the volume and the pitch. So volume is self-explanatory, but pitch you've got 1 through 9, and as you can hear, you get a little symphony of different pitches that you can change it to. So if there's one that kind of, grinds your gears a little bit and you want to change that, you can adjust it in that menu right here. But let's do a quick demo of what Park Pilot can do. So to simulate, you'll be driving through a parking lot. You want to go ahead and hit the Park Pilot button, which is on the right side of the shift knob here. And like it's showing right now, it thinks this is a parallel parking situation. But once you get up kind of close enough to where it would be a perpendicular parking situation, this little icon will pop up and you can push the Park Pilot button again. Then it will switch to, like you can see, a perpendicular parking scenario. So what we want to do is then get into the right situation. So we want to drive forward a little bit until it's telling us to reverse, which is now. So when it switches and does that arrow, that means it wants you to go in reverse. So you put the car in reverse and you're in control of the speed at which all this happens. And if you do it too quickly, the car freaks out. So you want to do it nice and slowly. Go in reverse here. We'll take our hands off the wheel. And again, we're controlling the speed at which we're turning. So it knows there's an open space here, so it's taking advantage of that. Now it's telling me to go forward. It's going to turn me back pretty aggressively there. We'll go in reverse again. It's lining me up. Again, I'm controlling the speed at which we're going in reverse. It's just controlling the angle. It's getting me nice and lined up in that spot. And then it's telling me to move forward, so it can just even itself out. And then it will have me take over steering here in a second, once it sorts me back out again. So you can see on the rear camera, we're nice and in the center of that space, and then boom, park assist ended, so then I would take over. But let's test it in a parallel parking situation, which is probably where it's gonna be more useful, because you could probably figure out with your rear view camera how to park since you have those adaptive lines, you know, it's a little bit easier. So we'll be in a normal situation here. We'll hit our park pilot button. It's gonna pop up with the parallel parking situation, which is the correct one here. You wanna pull parallel with the car you're trying to park next to, and it will give you that indicator right there. Go ahead and put it in reverse. Let go of the steering wheel here. Control that speed with our brake pedal again. And we're letting it do all the work. And we're cheating a little bit because there's no car behind us, but you know, it would turn more drastically if it needed to in a, you know, severe parallel parking situation. So there, we've got us straight in it. It's gonna line us back up going forward here, get us nice and close to this car, and park assist ended. So it's really that simple. And I'm just amazed that there's not more systems like this out there, but you know, it's still here on the 2022 Tiguan. I would assume it wouldn't last a whole lot longer, but you know, if you struggle in a city situation, parking in and out of those tight parking spaces, this could be really helpful. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like in the video if you learned something. Tell me in the comments down below, did I miss a secret feature that's your favorite? I'd love to have a conversation down there in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be one of the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.